Well, it finally happened. So yesterday, a riot broke out in Los Angeles in protest to a series of ICE raids happening in the city. And it got so bad that tear gas and flashbangs were used, dozens of arrests were made, and of course, lots of the left's favorite activity, property damage, occurred. I would say I'm surprised, but I'm not. I knew eventually the left's illegal immigrant obsession would escalate to violent heights. And it's so fitting that it would happen in Los Angeles. I mean, LA is completely cooked. California is basically a lost cause at this point, and it just illustrates how disillusioned the entire left is that they're willing to burn down their own city to defend people who illegally broke into our country. And what's even worse is the mayor of LA, Karen Bass, the governor, Gavin Newsom, and tons of California Congress members have all come out on the side of the illegal immigrants, reinforcing what we already suspected. Democrats are overtly pro-illegal immigration. They want to bring in as many illegal immigrants from the third world as possible who are dependent on the US government to keep them alive, will vote Democrat, bolster the population of blue states, and create a perpetual one-party system in America. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel, but let me show you how this all started as protesters surround the federal building in downtown Los Angeles where these illegal immigrants were taken.
I'm Giovanna Lotta. You're taking a live look at one of the protests underway in Los Angeles just a few hours after the mass immigration raids. Chris Christie is live in Air 7 with the latest. Chris.
That's right, Giovanna. It's a major protest going on about 2 hours now. Close to 1,000 people now wrapping around the detention facility between Alameda and Los Angeles Street. They started on the front steps of the federal building at 300 Los Angeles, now marching down Aliso. In the lead there is that cattle truck leading the pack as they make the turn onto Alameda Street. The strategy here is to basically encircle the detention facility, which is that building right there, where we understand there are actually some people inside of the building.
I find it embarrassing how shameless the left is about their hypocrisy. These are people who will scream that nobody's above the rule of law, except, oh wait, 30 million illegal immigrants. They legitimately don't care that these people committed a crime breaking into the country. In fact, they'll even convince themselves it's not a crime. They spin reality to fit whatever narrative they want it to. It's the same way they'll condemn political violence when the right does it, but when the left engages in firebombing Tesla dealerships, they say, no, that's a legitimate protest to fascism and Nazism. In their mind, they're perfect people, so they can't do anything wrong. They think their feelings ought to be everybody's top priority and concern, and just like petulant children, when they don't get their way, they cry and throw a temper tantrum. And here they are doing that exact thing outside of the federal building in downtown LA, just starting a riot because they're upset. Again, these are the people who every chance they get will bring up January 6th as the worst sin that's ever happened and use it as an example to lecture the rest of us how attacking a federal building is the worst thing you can absolutely do. But I have no problem doing that exact same thing when it fits their objective. And of course, these federal agents aren't going to let these protesters just storm the building. So when they take necessary measures such as shooting tear gas or flashbangs into the crowd, the left looks around as if they're the victim. Again, it's like a child who throws a tantrum and starts breaking things around the house, and then when the parent spanks them, the child looks at the parent like they're the victim. And of course, in the middle of all of this chaos, Mayor Karen Bass of Los Angeles comes out and makes a statement demonizing ICE and showing her unwavering support for illegal immigrants. Take a look.
Outrage that this has happened. Of course, what happened here, I think, was probably the worst. There were a number of locations where ICE raided today. And, you know, to me, when these things happen, it sows a sense of terror in the community. It's bad enough that it happened at this location, but the way this goes and spreads throughout the community, then people are not sure where they're safe.
Like when the elected officials are so okay with chaos that they're saying they won't have LAPD intervene because they don't want the illegal immigrants to be scared or worried, and they want them to feel safe and welcome in Los Angeles, everybody's lost the entire plot. And of course, that makes the rioters feel emboldened that they have the support of their elected officials to keep doing what they're doing, that it's okay for them to try and get their way by force and violence. I mean, because of the reckless endorsement from the mayor of LA and Gavin Newsom, I saw a video of a protester who got run over and reportedly died because they were trying to stand in the way of ICE trucks as they were leaving the raid and going to the federal building. I'm obviously not going to show the clip because I don't want this video to get blocked, but a blatant disregard for the rule of law isn't going to end well. Did that protester think he was just going to stand in front of this ICE truck? They weren't going to go anywhere. They were going to let themselves get surrounded by a mob of protesters, open the door and let the illegal immigrants out. But the left is going to use that, and they're going to point to that and say, oh my God, ICE, they're such bad guys. They ran over somebody. Never once do they hold themselves accountable for poor actions. And that's the problem with being coddled all your life and being told that you're the most special person in the world and your feelings matter more than anything else. You are the center of the universe. Is it makes you ill prepared for life, and eventually you'll face that reality, potentially in the form of getting run over by a car. Now, eventually LAPD had to come because this thing was escalating fast, and the city declared it an unlawful assembly. Here's what that looked like.
Still up your family.
The reason the left has this perverted ideology about illegal immigration is because just like everything else they stand for, it's not based in reality, it's based in delusion. They have this idea that every illegal immigrant is this mom who walked 1,000 miles with her 3 kids to try to have a better life in America. When the stats over the entire Biden administration show that 70% of illegal immigrants who came here were single, military-aged men. They see all of these people coming here as people who just want a better life. They just want to assimilate to American society. They believe there's a 0 chance that any of these people could have nefarious intentions, that any of them could be bad. The left will always cry about, oh, how come all Americans can't have free healthcare? How come we can't have parental leave? How come we can't have free childcare? But then we'll be completely fine with tens of millions of illegal immigrants siphoning money from the federal welfare system. They don't care about truth or living in reality. They just want to virtue signal as much as possible so they can get pats on the backs from their friends. Now, here's what Kristi Noem had to say this morning about the riot yesterday in LA and the disgusting endorsement of it by the mayor.
The President of the United States was awake last night, concerned about our law enforcement officers. Pete Hegseth was involved. Everybody was there. What can we do to bring peace? What can we do to bring stability? What do we do when we have guys like Hakeem Jeffries standing up in front of the world and saying it's okay to kill ICE. It's okay to throw things at law enforcement officers. It's okay to do that. That's not okay. Not in America. We have rules. We have laws. When people are murderers and rapists, they have consequences, and we are going to make sure that they face consequences. But those statements put out by Newsom and Karen Bass is absolutely ridiculous, because what we need is action right now. I mean, be people that are leaders for once. And let's not go back to 2020 when they were burning down the city of Minneapolis and you had people like Tim Walz encouraging it. I mean, this has been going on now by Democrat politicians for years, and that's why Donald Trump is in the White House.
Democrats love engaging in these performative antics. They've all convinced themselves Donald Trump is a Nazi, and then they can feel like good people standing up against the fascism. But all they end up doing is supporting actual bad people, the same way they did for Abrego Garcia, the same way that rogue judge did when she snuck an illegal immigrant out the back of her courthouse who was there to be convicted for domestic assault. The same way it happened in Minnesota the other week when they were protesting law enforcement, thinking they were being the good guys standing up for the evil, bad Nazi ICE. But what was actually occurring that they were protesting was a joint operation by ICE, by ATF, by FBI, stopping an actual criminal ring. And that's what they end up actually defending because they're more concerned with the theatrics. Take a look at this nonsense from Minnesota.
You want to be doing?
Lower your mask! Please. Fucking
It's the same way they were protesting in support of continued government corruption. The same way they fight for men to be able to compete in women's sports. The same way they fight for kids to be indoctrinated by their teachers and be permanently sterilized. They continue to be on the wrong side of every issue because they think that they're perfect and they've never even considered for a second that they could be wrong. And that's what the election in November showed them, was overwhelmingly the American people disagreed with you guys. But they didn't use that as a wake-up call, as a moment for self-reflection. They just doubled down and told themselves, wow, I can't believe I'm living in a country with so many evil people. They can't get off of their moral high horse because that's what they've based their entire identity around. They hate Western culture. They think they look intellectually astute when they say things like America is an evil, oppressor, imperialist society. But when you believe that, it makes sense why you have no actual concern for American citizens and instead want to prioritize the third world, illegal immigrants. Here is a clip of the California legislator just this week denying a bill to lower gas prices for its citizens.
Prepare to pay more at the pump starting next month.
Wednesday morning, a forced floor vote on Senate Bill 2 came to a quick end after state Senate Democrats unanimously voted against it.
I gave my Democrat colleagues the opportunity to protect Californians' wallets, their constituents, and they chose not to.
I just ask that we request a no vote. Thank you very much.
Not even one Democrat voted for it.
It tells their voters, their constituents in all of California, that the Democrat Party in Sacramento is not serious about solving the affordability crisis that we're experiencing in California right now.
Like, they don't care about the well-being of Americans. They don't care about the affordability crisis in California. That stuff doesn't affect the illegal immigrants because everything is paid for by the taxpayer. They get to work under the table for cash while also getting every aspect of their life paid for. They get to get ahead at the expense of Americans who fall behind. And you would think that Californians learned their lesson about this woke lunacy when their entire city of Los Angeles burnt down, but apparently not. Maybe all the transgender hormones lead to short-term memory loss. I was watching an MSNBC reporting about the riot, and they said that in LA County alone, there are an estimated 1 million illegal immigrants. And they think that that's just acceptable. They think it's okay to harbor people who break federal law, break into our country, disregard our immigration process entirely, spit in the face of our country, and declare that we have a right to take care of them and they don't have to follow our rules. And then they create these sanctuary cities thinking that it's a policy based in compassion, but can't even critically think and understand that the logical conclusion of those kind of policies is the worst kind of people who break into our country are inevitably going to go to those cities where even if they get arrested for committing crime, they won't be deported. It's actually a complete mess. And this level of delusion is what's causing such a polarization between the two parties. One party wants America to be great again, and one party is adamantly anti-American. Let's watch Scott Jennings' jaw hit the floor as another Democrat on the panel reveals what the preferred and ideal Democrat policy is. That every single person on planet Earth has a right to free health care paid for by the American taxpayer. I'm not kidding.
Everyone deserves health care.
Even illegals? Every single person in the world deserves
Just for the
healthcare.
record, as a candidate, you're for illegal aliens getting Medicaid.
I think everyone in the world deserves
That's a
healthcare.
yes. That's a yes.
I'm such a
That's a Democratic
I mean,
position.
it is a yes, but
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a Democratic
Everyone in the
position.
world
Illegal
deserves
aliens should
healthcare.
get Medicaid.
But I mean, I mean,
How is this controversial?
I don't. But
How is it controversial?
How is it controversial if they don't want someone to die in the hospital because they can't afford
what do you
it?
think pays for health care when undocumented people show up at a hospital? Who pays for that?
We all pay for it.
Exactly.
Like, if you have this policy position, you are openly admitting to everybody you live in fairy tale world. You're not with us here in reality on planet Earth. Besides America, Canada, like 25 countries in Western Europe, South Korea, Japan, China, the rest of the world lives in poverty and is ripe with corruption and political violence. If the Democrat position is 75% of the world's population is entitled to come into the United States and get their life provided to them for free on the backs of the taxpayers, you are a whack job. I could understand that being the opinion of a 5-year-old who has no concept of scarcity, of limited resources, of money. But for a grown adult to argue that the point of the United States is not to benefit its own citizens, but somehow take care of the rest of the world. In fact, the rest of the world has a right to come here and be taken care of, is not a position that the American people are ever going to agree with. And until the Democrats drop these radical ideas, they will forever be an extremely unserious, unpopular disgrace of a party. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. And I will see you guys in the next one.